Good morning, guys. 9 days ago, the Splinterlands team basically announced that they're going to remove the current reward cards, and then they're going to implement new reward cards, and then these reward cards are going to be soul-bound, and there's a lot of exciting news. There's a lot of cards to get through. I'm going to try and make this video quite quick. So there are 43 cards to go through. 6 of them are the new summoners, and then the rest all get broken down into the different sets and the different splinters. So they've also explained how they're going to distribute the cards into the different loot chests and what are the odds and the percentages. You can kind of see them below. All of the links will be in the video down below. All the cards will be soulbound, and then what might happen is once they become max rank, you can then either burn them or maybe even trade them. I don't think they are tradable, but just obviously let's just see what happens. There's also different new abilities. So the most important one for the new summoners is Conscript, which basically allows it that the new gladiator cards can be used in normal ranked play and tournaments, so you can play one of them. If you use a Conscript summoner in a brawl, obviously in brawls you can already use one gladiator cards, but now you can use two. There's also Martyr, which is when this monster basically dies, you give +1 all stats to the rest of your team, or it says to the adjacent characters, or if, I don't know if it's the whole team or if it's just the ones right next to it. We've got to figure that out. And then finally, weapons training. This gives +1 damage to monsters adjacent to it. So this is quite exciting. You can also, once again, read this all down below. So let's get straight into the new summoners. So basically, same thing. They then updated it, and they updated it last night. So let's get through these cards. So the 6 new summoners. So they all get Conscript, which means that you can then use a gladiator card. For fire, they take away 2 armor. For water, you get +1 HP. For earth, you get -1 speed. For life, you get +1 armor. For death, you get -1 HP. And for dragon, you get +1 speed. So obviously the most valuable one out of these is the dragon one. I think dragon should have probably swapped with water or something along those lines. I feel like giving dragon +1 speed already makes it the most valuable. So dragon's already the most valuable because you'll automatically use it to gain access to all the dragon cards. So typically dragon summoners are weaker or worse off than if you just went into a specific splinter, because it allows you to use all the splinters plus the dragon cards. But what they've done for the summoners now is that they've given dragon the best +1 speed for your team, is much better than HP or armor. And then also for fire, I think -2 armor is not that important, but so I think fire is the worst, and I think dragon is by far the best. I think these two could have also swapped. I feel like earth is always the +1 HP. I always feel like life is +1 armor, so that's quite fitting. And then death is always minus something of the enemy, speed, HP, damage, so also quite fitting. Earth is just, water is just kind of out of place with the +1 HP. But let's get straight into the monsters. So we got the Ferox Defender. So this is a weird one because it's a position 1 that has no void armor, no protect, but it does, it has protect in the sense that it's got high armor, high HP, and then it gets additional armor and gives additional armor to its team. And then it also has repair for itself and then shatter later on, but most of us won't get to the shatter level, so we might play in with the protect plus the repair. I like it. I don't think it's the best position 1 for fire, considering that fire is basically specialized in melee battles, or melee confrontation. But I do like this card. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and the artwork is great. Moving on to Firecaller. So this is where we first see the new ability Martyr. So when it dies, it gives buffs to its teammates. For that reason, it's got damage is high-ish, 2, 2, 3, very low HP, designed to die. I don't think it's a very good card. I think it costs too much mana for what it gives you. I think there's far better cards to use for 5 mana. So I don't think this card will get played a lot, but that's just my opinion. Moving to the Pirewatch Devil. So the Devil's a bit different because it is, it's 3 mana, plus it has lifesteal, the damage is quite low, but eventually you can get it to 2. And I think once you get it to level 4 and it's got 2 damage, 3 speed, 4 HP for 3 mana, plus it's got lifesteal. It's just, yeah, I think that's amazing. I think that's probably a better card than the Firecaller by far. Even if this card was 5 mana, I would still think it's better than the Firecaller. So for that reason, I think this is currently the MVP of Fire. Moving on to the Epic. So what they've done is the epics of the reward sets basically have no damage. So then you can either use them as plugs or walls or whatever you want to call them. But you've got a taunt with redemption, and then later on gets return fire, and then at max level also gets phase, high speed, lots of HP, decent armor. I like it, especially if you can then pair it with weapons training or martyr. You can then buff it up, give it some damage, or you can just keep it as your front line in like no melee matchups. Moving on to the hero. Okay, so the hero kind of makes sense. This is actually exceptional. You have super high damage. You have the weapons training for if he dies. You have the reach, and then you've also got like reflect. Is reflect the right word? What's the right word? Sorry. It's annoying me that I don't remember. Yeah, you got reflection shield, so the monster won't take damage from blast, thorns, or return fire. The problem is, I don't think he will die before position 1, so he'll die in position 1, and then the weapons training will only go to like position 3, but that doesn't matter. I think for 8 mana, to have something that has 7 HP, good speed, plus armor, plus damage, it is basically a better version of my already probably one of my favorite cards, the Finish Rage. So it's an upgrade of that. Obviously a little bit more mana, but that's fine. Really good card, will be used all the time. Moving on to Surreal the Bale. So okay. Okay, so you got magic, you got 2 speed, so a little bit slow, no armor, 5 HP consistent, but then you have double strike and then eventually blind and then eventually rust. So I think magic plus double strike is always going to be a strong combination. And then especially for fire, while this might not get used every game, especially in equalizer games, fire is deadly in equalizer games, because now you've got Surreal the Bale, and then you can pair that with the new Rift Watcher, Assassin with Opportunity. You got 6, but obviously 4 HP is really bad. And then you can combine that with some of the Chaos Legion's fire cards. You've got something like the Jin Inferni, which has 4 magic damage. And then of course there's some of the best reward cards for fire that have no HP, like the Exploding Rats and the Exploding Dwarf. So equalizer games, fire will still probably be my go-to. If not, death is also really good. So moving on to water, I really like this art. It's basically a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. You got a Swamp Spitter. So you've got to repair 2, so 7 for 2 for 2, 1, 5. It eventually gets better with 3 damage, but I don't think it's the best with the repair. I think there's much better cards for water. I do love the art, but I just off the top of my head and just looking at it first time, I don't think it's that good. Coastal Sentry, you've got double strike, lots of HP, lots of speed. Like at level 4, so in Silver League even, you can have 4 damage. The main problem with this card is it doesn't have a lot of defense for position 1, so I feel like it's going to die very quickly. But you'll start the game and this card might even just kill their position 1 in turn 1, because you'll most likely be the first one to attack. So it could be super broken and super strong. I think if you can get, like, if in the game modes like Triumph, and this card can just kill the whole enemy team in 1 turn. The other thing that would make this really strong, now that I think about it, is the new summoner from Chaos Legion. If you combine it with Possibilis the Wise, and then you basically make sure that you get Trample, you get the Reach, plus the 2 HP. This card will be super strong, but it has to be combined with Possibilis the Wise, and then you can put a different position 1 that has like a Taunt to soak up all the damage, and then this one deals all the damage, and then you're in such a good spot but it'd be very situational, and you have to combine it with Perceivers. Riverboat Captain. Oh, magic plus blast broken. This will be used a lot. It will be the bane of silver, most likely even bronze. This will be the card that helps people get out of bronze and into silver. Already, if I had to give this already 9 out of 10. It's a little bit slower than Ruler of the Seas, but it's going to be so much cheaper than buying a Ruler of the Seas. If you were to go to market right now and you go reward cards, legendaries, Ruler of the Seas is still $46 US, and very similar. 2 mana, 2 magic damage, 3 speed, 5 HP, blast. This is obviously a rare, but still 2, 1, 4, and then you can upgrade it. I think Riverboat Captain is exceptional and will be used all the time. Okay, Noah the Just, 5 HP. Oh, that's really cool. So he's got backfire, he's got dodge, he's got super high movement speed. He's also got Martyr, so that's really good. And then high armor, high HP. I think he's fine. You got to find a way to get damage on him, or you can just put him in position 1 and then pair him up with Perceivus the Wise, and then pair him up once again with a Coastal Sentry, and then you're in for a good time. Okay, there's the weapons training. So Kahula, the Mastermind. You've got weapons training, opportunity, shield, enrage. This will be used all the time. Water's getting a lot of opportunity cards, so Assassin Water is looking really exciting. I like all the water cards actually, except the Swamp Spitter, but I do like the art. And then last but not least, you got a Musa Saline. We got a 3 mana, 1/3/3 scavenger. I mean, water and magic goes quite well together. Eventually you also get a shatter, so it'll be a really good card. Plus you got scavenger. Put this in your backline as a plug. There'll always be a use case for it. I think all the water cards are actually really good. Moving on to Earth, oh my god, this art is so cool. I love this art. The Fungus Flinger. So you got your Martyr, 1/1/2. You put this in the backline, you hope it dies. You let it die to opportunity, and then it basically buffs up the rest of your team. I like it. I don't think it's that amazing compared to something like a Musa Saline, but obviously this is a common, so we take it. Okay, let's look at the Grunt. So the damage in the beginning is really bad, but the speed is consistent, improves. The HP is super high, and you've got Void. So I think it's a good card. Obviously, you kind of want to get it to level 8, but even at 2 damage, the 2 damage means it's a bit weak. But for 6 mana, you got to remember, I think for 6 mana it's really good. For the Void plus the Return Fire, I think once you get it to level 6, it'll be really good. But there are better position ones for Earth. But I think for new people starting the game out, it'll be a really good card. Madcap Magus. We have 1 magic damage, 1/1. I think magic damage plus lifesteal is already good. You just got to be able to protect it. So you got to combine it with cards that can protect it. But I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it will be used a lot. You desperately need to get some levels on it, because as you level it, you get it some HP, and then you either keep it at level 3 or you then have to try and get it to level 5, because you don't want it to have 2 HP. It's just too weak to Scattershot. Ava the Undaunted. Okay, let's go quickly to the epic. I think that's just better. So Thane, the new song, looking at him. For 4 mana, he's probably the best epic because of the low mana cost. So even though you don't really want to give him anything, he gives you so much inspiration, plus that, plus speed, plus minus that. Really good position 1 plug. You just put him in, put some archers or put some magic cards behind it and let him do his thing. Looking at Ava, there you've got the target practice, you've got a lot of shatters in this new edition. I don't know if that's how I feel. I don't like her HP. I think she's okay, but I also think that there are better Earth Archers, but still exciting nonetheless. And then Hulk. Wow, taunt, void armor, lots of damage, lots of... The only problem is the speed, but I think once you play reverse speed, he'll be used most of the time. Really good card. Taunt, not bad. I like the art. I think he's a good card. Oh wow, Imperial Knight, moving on to life. So, Divine Shield, Void Armor, lots of HP, lots of armor, bad speed, but it gradually improves, bad damage, but it gradually improves, and then once you get it into Silver League, you can actually get heal. I think heal cards are always like amazing. Heal, Divine Shield, and then eventually you even get Magic Reflect. Really good card. Will be used a lot, especially for 7 mana. Moving on to Drybone Barbarian. Enrage, Retaliate, high damage, speed gets gradually better, and then no armor, and then lots of HP. I don't know how I feel about this. It's the way that I feel about the Drybone Barbarian is the same way that I felt when just quickly looking at a Coastal Sentry. Like, it's a really good melee card. It does a lot of damage. It's got the enrage. It's just not a really good position 1 because I don't think it's that good of a tank. Obviously, it's got a lot of HP, but it doesn't have void. It doesn't have anything that reduces the incoming damage, but it does have Retaliate. It does have Barbarian. What I think this would be really good for is in like sneak games or opportunity games, you put this guy in the back line so that he takes damage from sneak cards, but he's not the main tank. But then as he gets attacked, he can then retaliate plus get enraged. But really cool card regardless. War Pegasus, 2/3/7 flying plus shatter. I think this card's good. I just think it costs too much mana. And because it costs too much mana, I don't think it's going to be used a lot. But yeah, because if you just look at a level 1, obviously once you level it up, you got to get to level 4 to get 3 damage. But even then, 3, 4, 8, 7, there's better life archer cards than this. So I don't think it'll get used too much. Okay, cool. So 5 mana. Wow, this might even be better than the Earth one. Obviously, it's a little bit more expensive, but you got immunity, you got armor repair, plus you've got thorns. Obviously, let's ignore the inspiration. We can even ignore the repair, but you've got immunity, you've got thorns, lots of armor, lots of HP. I think it's a good card, and it will find a use quite often, especially in poison games. I like the art of this owl bird creature. So Avis, let's look at him. Damn, I hate his HP actually. Just looking at his base HP of 3, no armor, bad speed. Obviously, if he gives weapons training to people and eventually gets redemption, but he's so weak to scattershot as well as opportunity cards that I just don't like it. I think for opportunity equalizer games, he'll be very useful, but apart from that, I don't see a good use for him. Izar. This one's much better. So you've got magic, you've got lots of HP, good speed, no armor, but then you've got void, plus then you've got a taunt. I think for magic only rule sets or ranged only rule sets, this is fantastic. And yeah, it's just another taunt that life gets to use. Possessed Puppet. You have, okay, you've got high damage, high speed, bad HP, no armor. Yeah, you've got really bad HP when it first starts off. You've got double strike and then eventually double strike plus cripple. Double strike plus cripple is always going to be a good combination. Equalizer games, this makes death look very appealing. Like, you put this in position 1, but it has to be with equalizer rule sets to give this like 10 HP, and then you let it kill a minion in round 1, and then hopefully it can attack again in round 2. Wily Coyote, basically. 2 mana, lots of armor, lots of HP. Obviously in the low levels it's really shit. It doesn't get the damage until level 10. So, like, I feel like this is an okay card. Especially once it gets phase, it's going to be good. But for 2 mana, it makes it really good. You put it in, there'll be very few cards for 2 mana that give you the speed plus the phase plus the armor plus the HP, but there's better position ones. Oh, this is good. Ravenhood Warden. So the Protect is very good for Death because Death doesn't have a lot of armor. It's typically played a lot like Earth, where there's lots of the minions and the monsters have lots of HP, but they don't have a lot of armor. So this gives armor to your Death deck, and I think that just makes it good. Get it to level 4, get the 2 damage, the 2 speed, the 3 HP, plus then the armor. I think this is a really good plug. You just put it at the back, it does its job. I'm happy. Will-O-Wisp. Maybe for Earthquake games, you put this in position 1 just to take a whole bunch of hits, and then it flies, and then everyone else takes some Earthquake damage for maybe 2 turns. But apart from that, I don't really like it. Sook, I don't know how to pronounce that. But 8 mana, 2 damage, 2 speed, no armor. Weapons training. I think it's got magic damage, it's got high HP, plus it's got weapons training. So I think this guy will fit right into any deck. You put him in any 99 or high mana games, he'll buff up the people around him. The art is amazing, and eventually he gets resurrected. So I like it. Wow, that's the art that I really liked actually. 10 mana, you do get healed eventually. You got flying, plus you got bloodlust. Bloodlust with, like, this is going to be amazing for 99 mana games, but bloodlust plus magic is always an amazing combo. Moving on to dragon, you've got this snake-like creature. Okay, for 1 mana, no attack, scavenger, some HP. You're just going to put this in as a plug. You'll just use it whenever you can. I think it'll be used a lot, and the art is amazing. Eventually even with camouflage, but don't have to worry about that unless you're playing in the top leagues. And then the Snake Eye, weapons training, 3. To me, I think there's better 10 mana cards, but I still think this is really cool. So it has a purpose, I suppose. Moving on to the neutrals, the Gobson Bomber. Okay, so it's got camouflage. I really hate recharge. I just personally, I don't think it's a very good ability. I mean, recharge plus camouflage makes it a little bit better, but low armor, low HP, bad speed. Speed gradually improves. Damage does not improve until a very long time. For 7 mana, I don't think it's worth it. I think there's much better cards that you should be playing. So I'm going to rate this like a 1 out of 10. I think this won't be used a lot at all. This Orc. Okay, so it keeps 1 HP consistently. Eventually it gets Thorns, it gets Retaliate, it's got Shield, it's got quite low damage, but eventually it gets upgraded. I think it's good, but obviously it's only going to be used for Equalizer games. I can't see a game that this is used normally because of the 1 HP magic cards kill it one shot. The Marks Rat. Okay, cool. Martyr, 1 damage, 2 speed, 1 HP, 3 mana. You know what this card's going to do. It does its job. You put it in its back. You put it in your back. It's going to take a sneak. It's going to take an opportunity hit, and then it's going to die. I think it'll be used a lot, but I don't think it's that amazing compared to some of the other 3 mana cards in the game. Oh my god, this art is amazing. The Clockwork Aid. Wow, the art is great here. Okay, 1 HP, lots of armor, and then it gives swiftness and rust. I think this is really cool. I don't think it'll be used a lot because of the bad speed and the bad HP. It has to be used in Equalizer games, so it's quite situational, but I still think it's very cute. I like the art a lot. Oh wow, okay, Drybone Raider. So you got Double Strike, Cripple, Shatter, 3, 2. Okay, so this card will be amazing in any sneak, any opportunity, any melee can attack from any position games. You basically put this in the back. You put some like taunts in the front to protect it. If you can get weapons training on this and you can buff its damage even more, this card is going to melt. This card should kill anything. If it's like an opportunity rule set and you can attack 4 times, because obviously 1, 2, and then double strike another 3, 4, and then cripple is affected, and then if it's got shatter and it can break people's armor, this card's going to do a ridiculous amount of damage, and I think that's just going to be broken. So I definitely think this is S tier. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Which cards are you most excited for? Which cards are you least excited for? Which cards do you think will break the game? And which cards do you think are just absolutely useless? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.